Hey, my friends, this is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And my friends, today is going to be magic, my friends, because we have, yes, that's right, a magician on the show who also is now, after efforts in the past, some lack of direction, now a successful digital marketer as well. So he is adding notches on his belt, adding titles to his resume here, and I am so excited to discuss this gentleman's journey this morning. Again, as you know, our guests are all new. Okay. Our guests are, in most cases, going live for the very first time. In many cases, not all. And we are so honored to be a part of their journey as they come out sometimes for the very first time and share their full story behind the scenes right here on this show. And so thank you for all of the love that you all send in the comments during these interviews. It means the world to us. It means the world to me. The support, the validation, the affirmations that you all give, how you also share honestly with us all as we're sharing vulnerably and honestly here on the show. It makes the show what it is. With that being said, Chad, my friend, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure, my friend. Tell us where you're calling in from.
I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa. So a few hours time difference, a long swim away from the US.
Absolutely. And I don't want to swim through those waters because I heard they were great white shark infested. So I'll take an airplane to you, my friend.
Absolutely.
So we have lots of people from South Africa that are in our community and that I've become connected with, and we've become connected with through digital marketing and through this community. And so we're happy to have you and happy to have you representing South Africans this morning here on the show. Shout out to all the South Africans in the community. Talk to us, Chad. How'd you find us, man? What led you here? What were you looking for? Do you feel like you found what you were looking for here as you've arrived?
To start off, where I kind of started was, so initially my wife and I had started the online journey together. Before that was back in 2021. Before that, we were working on cruise ships. So we worked for a cruise line for a good few years, and with the current exchange rate between the South African rand and the US dollar, it was really good jobs. It was extremely rewarding. We loved everything about it. And then COVID kind of came along back in 2021, and that put a stop to the entire travel industry. And even with my performing as a magician, those were kind of the first things that were taken off the list, right? So we were just sort of like stuck in the mud, so to speak. And we were aware of affiliate marketing before, but because of our jobs that we had previously, we were like, okay, we didn't kind of pay too much attention until the point came. And I hope that nobody actually does this, puts themselves in a situation where you wait until, you need to hit that big red button to make this call. But that's pretty much what happened to us. We were kind of falling behind with a lot of our monthly payments. The debt, our debt was going up a lot. We already had debt previously as well. So everything was just building up, but we had no income, right? So we kind of decided that let's take a look at this affiliate marketing thing, and let's see if, since it is online, it kind of checked the boxes for the current situation. So okay, cool. So we came across the challenge. We went through the challenge. And we did not know that it was as involved. Affiliate marketing, in my eyes, back at the time before we actually started consciously learning about it, was, you just get these links, you partner up with companies, wherever you can post the link, you post the link. That's what we thought it was, right? But then we learned there is actually a structure and almost like a formula, so to speak, if you want to build it into something great. So we got started with that. Started with building our first funnel, started promoting mainly on TikTok initially, and yeah, it kind of just kept going up from there. A couple of days after we started we like got the first sale, and we're like, okay, this stuff does actually work. It wasn't anything major, but it was proof of concept. So to me, it was like, okay, so this does actually work, and the more inputs we have, the more outputs we should technically see, right? But yeah, it wasn't all, after that, it kind of wasn't all smooth sailing. There was like a slump for the longest time. My wife actually left. We don't do it together anymore. So she fell in love with the mindset side of things, and she works with a lot of people within the mindset and in that sense of transformation. And I continued with the online space. So so essentially that is how the growth, how the journey started. And it kind of, when it hit that slump, I won't lie, I honestly, almost every single day, I gave up, right? Every single morning, I was like, this is not worth it. Like, things are not as good as they used to be. I thought it was just going to be all sunshine and rainbows from the very beginning. And yeah, fortunately, I'm super grateful that I actually managed to be able to speak myself out of that mindset of actually giving up and to continue. Because I mean, anything worthwhile, is worth the effort and the time and the energy that you put into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so right now I'm still currently doing it, and it is the kind of thing where I am able to do do digital marketing, but then also be able to perform as a magician. Because I mean, honestly, I still love that. So I'm not going to kind of just kick one out of the room. Now I enjoy both of them. I thought I had one kind of thing that I loved doing before, and now it's the both. But what I like about the digital marketing avenue is that it does give you the time to be able to, not just sort of pigeonhole yourself in. That's all you're stuck in doing. It does give you that time freedom, and that's what I actually love about it. It's really rewarding. So
Great. Well, I love that, and I love that you're creating magic in another area of your life. That's what it's all about, and it does seem like magic until you run into those first pitfalls, those first hurdles. And I love that you brought that up because, and you said it very plainly and very simply and very clearly in the sense that you gave up every morning. Let's talk a little bit before we get into your YouTube strategies, because I'm excited to talk to you about YouTube and how that's been producing for you. Talk us through a little bit about your mindset, about how you have either viewed this in order to get through those difficult times when you were quitting every morning, as you said, and how, what is the difference between entrepreneurship and doing this versus employment? Can you help some of the people who are new on the show today or who are struggling with making that transition understand how you are approaching this and what are the necessary mental and emotional tools that we must possess in order to be successful or even have a chance at being successful with this?
absolutely. I mean, for me, my personal view on it is that with anything, and in this case, I'm just going to speak about digital marketing. Your mindset is, I would say, like 80% of the entire game, right? The knowledge and things that you acquire from various courses and various bodies of knowledge, that is the remaining 20%. But the mindset that you have approaching it is majority of it. Because I've honestly learned that when I've invested in something that'll help me to learn, but my mindset wasn't there, I'd have all the knowledge, I have all the information, but there was still a block. Even though you'd kind of do the stuff and do the work and everything that you're required to do, you still don't see those results. And I realized it's because of that mindset. And how I personally shifted it was, it actually came through like an actual realization and an experience one day. My wife and I, actually a few months ago, we were able to pay off all our debt. So it was like a massive amount. It was a mountain, right? And we've been struggling to sort of reach that goal for the past 2 years. And when we did, we were excited, but that moment was very fleeting, to be perfectly honest, because we paid off the debt. There was a weight off our shoulders, and I realized that. And also to top that all off, we didn't use the last of our money to actually pay the debt off. We still had money left over in the account, so we were okay, right? And the very same day, so the morning was all the excitement. That same evening, I was like, I don't feel, I expected myself to be dancing and going crazy all day once this thing is paid up, and it didn't turn out that way. Like, yeah, that's not how it played out, And I sat and I kind of thought about it, and I was like, so that means that even though I thought on a conscious level that money was my end goal, the end goal wasn't actually money. It was, a couple of nights after that, my wife and I went out for dinner, and we were just sitting and we were chatting about it. And that's when I actually noticed, I was like, so this is actually what I've been putting all this effort towards, right? Being able to go out for dinners, being able to go on vacation, it's the experiences or the lifestyle changes around what you are doing and what that's going to bring for you. The money is going to get you those stuff, but when the money is the end goal, it puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on you. And I think for me, that was the biggest mindset shift, because once I switched from solely focused on just making money and just where the next sale is coming from, I switched from that to genuinely wanting to actually help people, realizing that what I'm doing is bigger than just an email notification saying you got so much, or you've earned, or you got a commission from wherever. So I think for me, it needs to be it needs to be bigger than just money, right? And a great way that I saw this being done was Dean Graziosi does this. It's called the 7 Levels Deep exercise. And I think if anyone actually watches that, it's on YouTube, you can check it out, and you actually do it. I think it's the quickest way to realize what your biggest why is. Because lots of people think, oh, I just need to make money. I want to retire early, or I want to, everything is based around the money. But when you do those 7 levels and you actually go real deep and you be genuinely honest with yourself, that is when you realize what your real why is, And when you've got that, it's literally it fuels you through everything. So on the days that you don't feel like continuing, or on the days that you when I say days, I don't just mean one day. It could be a string of days that this could happen. But when you realize that, and you've got that bigger why, apart from money, apart from just that tangible, non-emotional type thing, it really helps fuel you to actually continue going, because the slumps are going to happen. It's part of the journey. It's not part of the journey that everybody enjoys necessarily, but it happens. You just need to kind of develop and be aware of why it is that what it is that you're actually trying to achieve deep down. So
Yep. Well, the 7 levels deep exercise is actually quite an old personal development exercise, and it's basically asking yourself, and we can all do it right now, what do you want? And many of you might say, well, I want to make money. I want to be successful. I want to be financially free. Okay. And what will that do for you? What will being financially free do for you? Maybe some of you could actually type it in the chat right now. What will that do for you? Maybe some of you, it will, allow you to gain some of your dignity back. Maybe some of you might first say, well, it'll put me at home with my children more and allow me to spend more time with my kids. And if you can do that, what will that do for you? Well, if I could spend more time with my kids, I can, maybe at that point you might realize, oh, wow, I'm regaining some of my dignity, some of my independence, some of my identity that I've lost. And by continuing to ask yourself, what will that do for you? What if I achieve that, what will that give me? We can go 15 levels deep. I mean, you can ultimately, usually the exercise stops when you feel like your why is going to make you cry type of moment, to where you really are like, oh, yeah, that's what I need. For me, it was that all of my story, all of the failures, and I don't mean failures and not being able to set up my funnel, folks. I mean the drug addiction, the homelessness, arrests due to my addiction, the being on the streets, the degradation. All of that was not in vain. All of that was not for nothing, was what my why ended up being. It actually wasn't so I could spend more time at home. I mean, honestly, being at home is cool, but I also like being out. I just don't want to be out at a job that I hate, So it's not particularly about being home, right? I mean, if you're home long enough, you start to kind of get what we call, what is it called? Where
You
you
get
get
cabin fever.
cabin fever, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, let's get out of here. I wanted for my mess to not be for nothing. I wanted all my struggles to not be for nothing. Some of you are really saying some very honest and courageous and powerful things here in the comments. And again, to really get down to something that motivates you, to your why, you can continue to ask yourself, what will that do for me? If I'm able to be at home with my kids, I mean, maybe that'll drive me crazy. I don't know. What will that actually do for me? What will that give me? Something that I never had, a relationship with my father, right? I don't know what it is for you. It could be anything. And I think it's really important. I love that you brought this up, Chad, because this takes us so far away from just looking at other people and wanting to copy them and then getting in our emotions and then, getting frustrated and quitting and it helps us to center ourselves and get back grounded into what is actually driving us and what was driving us maybe even in the first place, like subconsciously, not just, oh, I saw a video on TikTok that was attractive. Somebody was talking about making money. But man, what is nagging at me? What is painful? What is some maybe not unhealed part of me, but maybe incomplete part of me that I never really experienced and that I want to experience now. It's an incomplete part of my life. It's an incomplete part of who I am as a person. And I want to complete that. I want to complete that part. I don't want to just be a mom forever, right? We hear a lot of people on here who are stay-at-home moms, and they say, well, I've kind of lost my identity in that. Us dads can relate to that too. We can relate to that too, of becoming a dad. And it's like, who am I anymore? Do I still got it? Right? So we want to complete that circle of accomplishment, that circle of, I can speak for a man, of achieving, accomplishing, challenge. What comes up for you as I kind of bring up? Does it take you back to your tapping into your why and share with us what's going through your head and heart as I'm kind of ranting about this a little bit?
No, 100%. For me, like I said, there's so much more power in knowing what you do on a day-to-day basis is actually you're doing it from a place of, like, from a genuine place, right? So if you genuinely want to help people and you do end up helping people, so if you in contact with someone and they end up, joining the challenge and they get their first result, right? And you know that you played a part in that, I can honestly say that when that person reaches out to you, or if they message you, however, email, whatever it is, and they say, I just got my first commission, thank you so much for helping me out, or I just got my first sale, it's so much more powerful and impactful to you knowing that you played a part in that, then you're getting your first email commission. And I'm not taking any credit away from, the appreciation of when that happens. But for me personally, once I've made it not about myself, that's when things really started to open up. And you need to be honestly, like you genuinely need to, you shouldn't beat around the bush with it or just pretend, because people can see right through that. Honestly, if you're just pretending to be like, oh, I want to help this person, or I want to help you build a successful business, or I want to help you with whatever the end goal is, but you're not actually genuine about it. Honestly, I can tell you that people can see right through it. You might think that, oh, they won't be able to know I'm putting on a real good facade, but they can see right through it. So it needs to be from a place of realness,
Yeah, I agree. And that takes some time sometimes for us to get to that authentic place to where we're really being driven by our own natural, authentic emotions. I was just watching this video with Tom Brady, and he said that he actually used anger in his games. He wasn't friends with anybody but the people on his team, and oftentimes he would look for people being disrespectful, or he would say, what did they say about us? How did they look? Right. So when he ran out on that field and he said, let's fucking go, he really meant it. And we can also manufacture emotions, authentic emotions. We don't have to just wait for things to come to us and, wait to see a burning bush to have a spiritual awakening. And all of a sudden now I'm ready to go succeed. Winners, successful people create situations and scenarios where emotions are created within them. And oftentimes that's all about the perspective that I have. And I can, of course, look at, giving you an example, I can look at my life and say, well, my whole life, I've had tons of failures, and that's probably a great sign. I shouldn't do this because I'm probably going to screw it up as well. Or I could look at that and say, I am determined to not let all that stuff happen for nothing. I am determined to not let all that be in vain. And I am going to I am going to use every single sign that I see, similar to how Tom Brady used maybe a facial expression or a comment that a competitor on a different team said in a press conference as motivation to get angry and go out on the field and want to beat that team. We can also use different signs in our life and business on a daily basis to filter those into emotion, fuel. Our emotion is fuel. And it is really, it is scary how powerful we can be when we translate the signs and situations into an empowering filter, not a victim stance filter, not a poor me filter, not a everybody's against me and I'm the only one who's dealing with stress and difficult things in life, and I should probably just, sit around and complain about it because whatever, however I'm justifying that. But instead, wow, man, this is hard. And I have already proven in my life I can do hard things. And this time I'm going to take these hard things and deal with them differently because I'm stepping into my adult self, because it's my time, because I'm ready to succeed now, because all of that stuff didn't happen in vain. And I can tell you, Chad, I have used a lot of emotion that I could have easily translated transformed into victim, sadness, depression. And I don't mean chronic medical. I mean where I just dwell on it and it gets me down and it makes me feel small. I have consciously translated situations and signals in life, in my business, into emotion that gets me angry, that gets me ready, that gets me fired up, that gets me ready to throw my hat and go out there and charge the field and say, let's go. how about yourself in using emotion as motion in your business in the right direction?
I mean, yeah, you said it really, really well, and I think you put it into, you kind of painted the picture really well. The way I see it is, and I always think this to myself when going through anything challenging, right? Is that what I always tell myself is, don't waste your pain. Always, don't waste your pain, because a lot of people actually they end up doing that. So you're going through something hard, and it's very easy to shift the blame or to shift a challenge or an obstacle onto something on the outside. It's human. We don't like to be to put any sort of blame on ourselves. It's easy to just pass on the responsibility, right? But when you do, and you actually do take responsibility for that, it's like um, it makes you a lot more powerful as an individual, right? And also touching on what you said about authenticity. So there was and this ties in a lot with how we do, like the social media side of things and creating content. There was a study that was done particularly on emotions and the vibrational state of humans. I'm a big believer and advocate that all human beings operate on a specific vibrational frequency. So the study that they did was, I think it was a good, like a couple thousand people actually. And what they did was each person was given an emotion to kind of to feel. So whether it was elation, joy, disappointment, sadness, anger, whatever it was an entire range. And at the end of the study, what they found was that, because the point of the study was to measure the vibrational frequency that people radiate or generate while feeling each of these emotions, right? And a lot of people, I honestly, for the longest time, thought that the highest frequency was gratitude, because that's what I've learned. I read in books, I've seen it. I was like, okay, which gratitude is really high, but the highest emotion in terms of the frequency that when they actually measured it was authenticity. So that is literally, that's a sign. Like when people are like, okay, so the science says ... That's proof. Like that's scientific proof that when you are authentic, you are literally vibrating at like your peak state. So when it comes to social media and wanting to, when you get to that thin line between modeling and copying somebody who you are following, you just need to be very aware of that. You need to kind of call yourself out and be like, okay, I'm actually copying, which means if I'm copying them, I'm not being my authentic self. You can model and still be your authentic self, but and that's what you actually want to achieve, So the biggest thing is just authenticity. And for me, I never felt that people would relate to me. I never thought that people would resonate with me. I've always been a major introvert, right?
Yeah.
And so when I got onto social media, which is strange because I put myself on stage performing for hundreds of people at a time, but when I started with that, I was like, no one's going to, I thought I was more worried about the judgment than anything else, to be perfectly honest. What are people going to think about my videos? What are people going to think about my Facebook posts, whatever it was that I was doing? And what I realized very, very quickly was that majority of the world doesn't care. And the people who do matter, who do matter when it comes to your goal, they are the people who are actually going to resonate with your story, with your message, with what it is that you're doing. But if you copy someone and then, you're doing really well because you've been copying, to sort of being like a carbon copy of someone else, and then 6 months, 8 months down the line, you decide, what, I actually want to be myself. Now that audience that you've built up from copying, they resonate with that personality. So now if you switch, you kind of like, there's a huge disconnect there. So from day one, like no matter how it feels that to you that people might not be responding, whether it's comments, whether it's sharing videos or watching your videos, that doesn't matter, because the people who do matter are the ones that they are going to reach out to you. And oftentimes they don't. A lot of times it happened to me where, I would sort of get a sale or a result, and I would reach out, because I personally reach out to everybody when, through email, just to find out how did they find me, what made them go ahead. And a lot of the times people would say like, oh, I've been watching your YouTube videos for a while, and they've never commented on any of the videos. So
Yeah.
in my head, like, man, my engagement is so low, people aren't watching. And that's the thing to, it's sort of like, it reminds me of the spy movies. I don't know if you remember the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie, where she's like a sleeper agent. So that's how I see my content, right? Because it doesn't get, if you look at, for example, like my Facebook posts, it hardly gets any engagement or anything like that. But when I do reach out to people, I'm like, oh, so what, what made you make this decision? They're like, oh, I've been following your stuff for a while. And it blew my mind that this person has never ever commented, they've never interacted with my content, anything like that. So don't let, don't think that if you're not seeing those vanity metrics, that it does not mean that you're growing. I promise you, there is someone that is watching or reading every single piece of content that you put out. And every single person matters for your business. So if you stop, you're kind of letting that person down because they were expecting that of you. It's like it becomes your obligation, to show up for them as well.
Platinum nuggets, my friend. I mean, truly, really great points. And very often, very, very often, this is why I was taught early on by virtual mentors, just people that I've studied and marketers that I've studied and courses I've taken, etc., to not pay attention to what the market is saying in terms of their comments and their feedback. Only pay attention to buyers. Only pay attention to data and metrics in how people are opting in, how just the simple conversion metrics that any one of us can apply to anything that we're doing. How many hits am I getting? How many leads am I converting? How many sales am I converting? How many back-end sales am I converting? Period. Nothing else matters. Not feedback, not surveys, not nothing. Because most of the time, the people who are going to give you who have the most to say are the people who don't buy anything.
That's true.
As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people, and I want everybody to be aware of this right now, who are going around comparing our curriculum and our program to other really, really lackluster companies, and I might even say schemes out there on the internet. And one of them, a member in our community, just sent me text messages of this woman this morning who was saying that, oh, you should buy this thing over here. It's got the same thing that Legendary's blueprints and all this have in it. And I actually went in and looked at her account. The lady who was saying that to the member in our community hadn't even purchased that program. So we really have to be careful what we listen to out there on the internet. The as you said earlier, you used a word, inputs. The inputs. This is this is an analytical term. Okay, this is an engineering term, right? That us creatives who have a difficult time with analytics and that kind of thing. Sometimes the inputs that we listen to are what people say, right? We want to listen to what people say because we're more emotional. Whereas what I have learned to do in my career is tune out what people say and only pay attention to what they do. As you said, I have noticed the same thing throughout my near 15-year career, that the majority of people who buy never make a single comment, don't engage. They're not, and I don't mean on a show like this where it's mainly for our community. I mean cold marketing, your email list, your social media profiles. The majority of your buyers, the people who are going to pull out their credit card and actually buy from you, will never make a single comment on any of your profiles. Wow. The freebie seeking, blood sucking, time vampire. I mean, the people who wouldn't part with their money if it was you were the last person on earth, have more opinions about what you're doing, more opinions about your content, more critical statements to make. And we take that in as if that's, real, like if that, as if that matters.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. It's only engagement. The only thing we should be looking at with every single comment is taking all of the emotion out of it, not taking offense to it, but simply saying, wow, that person commented and is helping my engagement. Because every single time somebody leaves a comment, good, bad, or indifferent, it is showing the social media platform that your content is engagement worthy. And you have to remember this, my friends. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube does not care whether people love or hate your content. As long as your content doesn't go against their terms, as long as your content isn't abusive, violent, those kind of things. They don't care, because what most of these platforms, what all of these platforms know is the angrier oftentimes the audience is, the more they watch.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about TV and the news. Does the news deliver us all, oh my gosh, do we just sit in front of our TV and go, oh, this is such good news? No, we go, I can't believe that politician did that again. What an a-hole, right?
Controversy Dave. Controversy is like a breeding ground for attention, right? So that's exactly what you're saying. So when it is something that is people either don't agree with, or it's like a strong opinion that you might have that differs from somebody else's, it's so, you think that you're creating negative content, but it's not. That's not the case necessarily. Like, you can't say that anyone's opinion is wrong if you're being, totally honest. It's what they believe in, obviously, unless it's completely destructive to anyone else around them's well-being or anything like that. But for the most part, it's like that controversy, it sparks conversation, and it's exactly what you said. As soon as those comments, or whether it's, if you have a video or anything, piece of content that has, a ton of like the thumbs down, the dislike on YouTube doesn't measure whether they liked it, whether they don't like it. They just measure it as somebody clicked this engagement or somebody commented, regardless of what they said, and that obviously that builds your if you want to call it your viral bank or your viral buckets. Any type of engagement is good engagement. It's like when they say any type of publicity is good publicity. Just switch out publicity for engagement when it comes to content.
No, it's me. I muted myself as you were talking. Let's talk about YouTube a little bit. What do you like about YouTube? What have you learned about YouTube? And how is YouTube different than platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram?
I mean, for me, what I like, or what I love, I'm not even going to say like, what I love about YouTube is that it is, in my opinion, the most evergreen place to put out content, right? You could have a piece of content that you created a year ago. If it's still relevant today and it's marketing a particular or promoting a particular product, your business could still generate revenue from something you did over a year ago. And it happens constantly, so that's what I personally love about YouTube, is that it's evergreen. So unlike other platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those platforms are really good to get real sort of like quick eyes onto your content. So if you're doing TikTok or Instagram Reels, in particular, even Shorts for that matter, it's really good to get it's a good opportunity to get a quick boost or a boost of eyes onto your business. But when it comes to the long game, that's when YouTube blows everything else out of the water, in my opinion, because it's a search engine. People go onto YouTube to search something like, how do I start affiliate marketing? How do I start an online business? And when your video ranks at one of those top suggested videos that YouTube serves you, that's like lead generation on autopilot, so I think in terms of the when you're looking at it from a more passive side of either generating leads or even generating sales, just sort of right off the bat directly from a YouTube video, I think that's what sets it apart from everything else. Because with TikTok, with Instagram, it's kind of like a teenage boy, right? They're always eating, so you always need to feed them all the time. It's like a 24/7 thing. So whereas with YouTube, it's kind of the way I see it is that it's a lot more mature than the other platforms in a sense. So yes, you do need to feed it, you do need to stay consistent, but I think the pressure of constantly having to create like truckloads of content every single day, 3 to 5 videos of short content every single day, versus 1 to 2 long form videos a week that will, so it's actually, in my opinion, more sustainable to do it that way. So that's what I love about YouTube, is that it is an evergreen platform. So as long as your content is relevant, it's going to be providing opportunities for your business, regardless of the niche that you're in. It does not matter what niche you're in.
And by evergreen and relevant, you mean what? Can you expand on that a little bit just so people understand?
Yeah.
How can I create a video and post it on YouTube that is still going to get me traffic and be valuable to somebody 6 months or 1 year from now? And how does YouTube work in the sense of how can I get perpetual ongoing traffic from YouTube? Can you explain from your perspective the algorithm of how people work? So part one, evergreen, what does that mean? Part two, the algorithm of YouTube and how it's different than the other platforms.
Sure. So what I meant by when I said evergreen was that it is content that you post or you upload that has a longer lifespan than other platforms. It's it's something. For example, if you take Legendary Marketer as an example, if you post a review of the challenge, and you posted a review maybe a year ago, and Legendary, the challenge is still a product that's valid today, 2023. So you posted it back in 2022, or you uploaded your video 2022. It's now 2023, and somebody decides to do a Google search on YouTube. Your video from a year ago could still sort of show up, just because of the way YouTube is. It's based on search. When it's something, I see something as not evergreen when it is something that appears and disappears very quickly. Like, you can have a viral TikTok video that does extremely well. You can get a ton of followers. You could get a lot of leads into your funnel and onto your email list. But like I said earlier, you constantly need to feed the machine a lot, So because the content disappears just as quickly a lot of times as it would blow up. So that's what I meant by evergreen, is that YouTube is something that people can access your content that you've made a while ago. You can just leave it to kind of sit, and people can view it and get value from it, and follow the necessary call to actions if you do have any in those videos. But that's what I meant by evergreen. When it comes to the algorithm itself, I don't like to look at things in the sense of, like hacking the algorithm, because a lot of people are like, this is how you hack the YouTube algorithm. This is how you hack the Instagram algorithm, whatever. For me, I personally, I've started not thinking about the algorithm, but replacing the word algorithm with audience. And because that's sort of like the feedback that you'll get. If you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to make a video that the algorithm is going to like? Think, how am I going to make a video, or what type of video am I going to make that my audience is going to like? It's not about playing the algorithm, because at the end of the day, you're creating content for humans. You're not creating content for machines. So if you are only doing something strictly for the algorithm, and they do kind of intertwine, and I'll get into that in just a second. But if you only sort of focus on the algorithm and how do you go viral and stuff like that, it's not going to serve you sort of in the long run. It's kind of the way it is. So I would focus more on audience. What would I consider valuable content for my audience, for my subscribers, for followers, people on my email list who I'll email and be like, I just uploaded a video. That's how I judge whether or not to kind of upload a piece of content. So when I said earlier that there are sort of like intertwined, so to speak, is that so on YouTube, when you search a particular topic, or you put in you type a question into the search bar, it'll give you a list of suggested videos. Those are the videos that YouTube thinks will best answer your question according to, in this case, the algorithm, right? So you want to learn how to rank videos. So you want to use keywords inside your tags, inside your description. And when I say keywords, I'm not necessarily, it's very similar to having like a hashtag strategy. So if you put out a video, your hashtags need to be very specific to your audience or to the topic of the video. And it's the same thing when it comes to your title for YouTube, your description, the tags that you put in, everything needs to remain relevant. So if I put out a video on affiliate marketing and I put one of the tags as, I'm just trying to think of something completely off brand. So for example, I put grow on you hashtag, not hashtag, one of the tags is like grow on YouTube or how to grow a channel on YouTube. That has nothing to do with affiliate marketing. So firstly, all your tags and your description need to have the keywords in them. For your description in particular, those keywords need to be it needs to be written in natural language. So it's not just a matter of taking all your keywords and sort of stacking them into your description, because YouTube doesn't like that. So put it into a paragraph. And then when it comes to the title, it is a mixture of including a hashtag that you can rank for. And there's different tools. So I personally use TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is a great tool that tells you how what the chance is of your channel ranking for a particular keyword. So if I, for example, create a video saying, legendary marketer 15-day challenge, and that's what the video is about, I can search legendary marketer 15-day challenge review on TubeBuddy, and it will tell me, according to my channel size and my audience, how likely it is that I'm going to rank at the top of the YouTube page for that search. So I would say use a keyword search tool like that, because it is super helpful. It saves a ton of time. And then also for your titles, you want to make it a mixture of a strong keyword, plus you also want to make it human. So I've started veering away from just saying things like, for example, taking the 15-day challenge. So instead of just titling my video 15-day challenge review, it sounds very cold and like machine-like. Include a human element into the title as well, right? Because people are seeing the video. Like I said earlier, you're not creating content for machines. So what you could do for the title, if you're doing a review video like that, could be like, I'm trying to think of something just to put in, like just something simple, like, will this, my personal review or my honest review, something basic. Yeah, there we go. My honest review of the 15-day or the legendary marketer 15-day challenge. So include human plus the algorithm, because you kind of, you sort of, when it comes to uploading your videos, you're looking at it in two different ways. One is for the algorithm, because that does help. You want to rank your video with your tags and the keywords that you use. But also, when it comes to your title, you want to include the human side of it as well. And then it's the same thing with your thumbnail. Use Canva and just create thumbnails that have high contrast. When you are creating your thumbnails, a big thing that I've noticed is that people if you do have text in a YouTube thumbnail, which is the first place people look, by the way, when they're searching on YouTube, it's the thumbnail, then the title, and then they'll decide whether or not to click on it. So use a thumbnail that has high contrast. YouTube's got a white background, so avoid a white background for your thumbnail, because if you search something, it's just gonna kind of blend in. So you can see, like, the thumbnails that I've used, it's blue, it's black, it's that type of thing. So it's something that stands out. And for your words, try to make them as big as possible, because people most of the time are viewing content on their phones. So the font that you're using, if it's too small, they're just not going to read. It's just going to look like a smudge. So make the font big, make it bold, and your thumbnail should give an indication as to what the viewer can expect from your video.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What wonderful stuff, and very just excellent examples right there on your YouTube channel, trying to blow that up a little bit so people can see. You also look to be using a green screen. So talk to us a little bit about your setup and how are you dealing with lighting? How are you dealing with audio, and what are you recording with?
I record with it's a mixture. So I'll start off with the let's go in order of what you said. It's not a green screen that I use. It's literally just it's a backdrop that I've got with a light. The light's actually over here. So this is like, you can get these on Amazon, like these. It's an LED light. I don't want to shine it into the camera because it's got like and it can change color. So if you want your background to be blue, green, red, it's got the full spectrum of colors. You can change that. I did was, I've got it's a dark gray, almost like a charcoal color backdrop behind me. And I just prop this light up, right behind me so that it shines onto the backdrop. So it looks like a green or blue. It looks like a thing. Yeah. And you can get these, like, honestly, they're called light mons. I'll hold it up in case anybody wants to check it out. There we go.
LITEMONS. Yeah, Lightmons.
That's the one. LED 6R, I think it is.
Very cool.
LED. So that is what I use for the back. I don't use green screen just because sometimes it looks a little weird around the edges. I've tried green screen before, but it's too much work for to kind of edit that stuff, and it's too time consuming. And I was like, just buy this light, put it up, and it's been amazing ever since. In terms of other lighting, it's just a ring light that I use, and then a softbox, which is a softbox is a light it's almost the size of like a small TV, a big rectangular light, and it's just both those lights coming in from two different angles. So if you kind of imagine it as a triangle with me at the top, there's I'm gonna get into the frame. There's the two lights that are coming in like this, pointing at me, right? Sort of like 45 degrees, and then the one light behind me, which is the color light, which, like I said, depending on your brand and how you want your video and your channel to look, you can change those colors up as much as you want. That's a softbox. There we go. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's muted, Dave.
Yeah, I keep doing that because I enjoy talking to myself, Yeah, what's interesting is this is really important, and the lights in the back have been less important to me, but I love the way that yours looks. What are you recording with as far as camera? Now, everybody could see that just me right now, I'm just simply on a laptop webcam. I mean, I'm not on any. I mean, I have got all the video equipment. I've bought it all over the years. It's a very manic-y, very sort of compulsive thing for me, and I've realized that I don't need any of it. I mean, unless I'm recording something like the 15-day challenge or something that I really want to be spot on. For most content, 90-something% of content, I keep it as simple as possible. What you seem to be a little bit more technically advanced than I am. What are you using for audio and video?
So for video, it's a mixture. I'll use my phone because honestly, if you've got a smartphone, it's got enough resolution and the camera is good enough to be able to take.
I agree.
Sometimes even better than the camera, to be perfectly honest. If you don't, the thing is, if you buy a camera that's really expensive and you don't know how to use it, your phone is going to blow it out of the water any day of the week. So
it's also simplicity and speed, right? Of actually getting the dadgum thing up and done is way better than, oh my God, it looks perfect.
Absolutely. So the actual camera that I use is this camera. Honestly, is so old. This is the one that I use. It's a Canon. I don't remember the model. M10. I got this years ago. I still use this for YouTube videos. This camera is over 5 years old. And honestly, like the biggest thing, if you want to do YouTube or any type of video content where it's like you are presenting a long form video, the thing that's going to help you the most is not buying a new camera. It's focus on the lighting. The lighting makes all the difference, So instead of going to Amazon and being like, I get it, like Black Friday is coming up and all these specials are going to be, people are going to be buying a lot of different gadgets. Look for lights. Like honestly, buy a set of like LED lights. I think I saw on Amazon there was a really good set for like $99, and it's like flat screen. They pack really small. They've got the stands and everything. All you need is two lights directly on you, because how it works is your camera. So if you take your phone, for example, if you want to take a picture or video and it's dark, it looks very hazy. That's just because your camera sensor is not getting enough light in. But the second you put those lights on, your camera sensor will think that it's daylight, sort of, or like sunlight coming into it, and automatically your picture will be sharper, everything. So literally all you need are those two lights, a tripod for your camera just to keep it up. And that's really it. For audio is a very small mic that I use. It's a lav mic, but I put it on a mic stand because I don't like the mic hanging off my t-shirt. So that's just personal preference. You don't need to spend a lot of money on a wireless mic. And I thought this to myself so often before. I was like, I need this gimbal and I need this amazing microphone that looks like I'm on a podcast. And I was like, at the end of the day, people don't care about what equipment you've got for your video, right? They care about what you are giving them in terms of value. So think about that, or approach it with that sense, or with that mindset, over thinking that your gadgets or your tech equipment is going to sort of, because you're going to spend a lot of money and then still be stuck in the same place being like, now I've got a $5,000 camera that I bought thinking that I was going to blow up on YouTube. Your camera doesn't make the difference. Like, it's the content that you create, you know?
I agree. Yeah. It's not the size of the ship. It's the motion in the ocean, baby. It's not, it's certainly the value that you provide, and it's how you use what you have. Again, I want to be crystal clear with everybody. I have done the majority of episodes of this show on my laptop computer webcam. And again, I just turned mine around. I do have these old, light box lights that I use, and they give me that nice bright light coming in here right on my face, which helps. And the tips that you're giving right now help no matter whether you're creating videos for YouTube or whether you're creating videos for TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. Good lighting and good audio is everything on top of creating valuable content. Good video, good audio, good lighting and good audio is everything. People just, and it really boils down to knowing how to use artificial light, which is real simple. This is not complicated. It's just putting, whether it be a ring light, whether it be these soft boxes, you can get them all over on Amazon. And I want everybody to also imagine that how powerful could we turn this into a video to post on YouTube, and then be putting affiliate links down to all the tools that we recommend. As a matter of fact, you should do that. I mean, you should absolutely, and you probably have, but this is so valuable. People go crazy over gadgets, and they go crazy over tech stuff. They go crazy over, there's so many people that want to create videos. I mean, we're all doing videos. We're all using video in our marketing. Teaching people, what you use as far as lights, as far as audios or cameras or any little thing, the little light that you just showed, are all products. Although I'm not a huge physical product affiliate marketer. I mean, but why wouldn't I monetize that if I can? It brings diversity to my content. It helps me to mix it up. It also helps me to just simply deliver value. This is so valuable. People go crazy over these kind of tips, and it's such a great way. What we've done today is an absolutely fantastic. We don't even need to explain anymore, because you've done a wonderful job of giving us so much value this morning, on top of demonstrating what a valuable long form YouTube can look like. And imagine if everybody can go to your channel, of course, look at how you've done it, but also imagine if Chad was just here on video explaining everything that he just said, and then saying, I have the link to the light here down in the description for your convenience. Click it and pick yourself up one. Now let's talk about video, right? And moving on in the video, explaining what he does and linking to that product right down in the description. It is affiliate marketing made simple. It is affiliate marketing done valuably, and it is affiliate marketing done profitably. What were you going to say? And let's bring this in for a landing, because this has been so valuable, man. I mean, you have demonstrated for us again what a valuable YouTube video looks like just in person, in real life here.
No, what I wanted to add was just on the topic of, a lot of times people give themselves the excuse of not being able to start a YouTube or any type of video content because of not having the equipment. When I started the YouTube channel, right? Basically, I didn't have the I had no money. I had a phone, I had a tripod that I bought a while ago, and I used to stack benches up, put the phone on the little tripod, and I went to YouTube and I followed a tutorial on how to make a softbox out of cardboard and aluminium foil and a globe. Like, it took a while, and I understand, like, people are in different financial situations. So some people are not in a position where they can buy a set of lights, even if it is, like $100 or whatever the current price is. There's always a solution to that. So it's just a matter of not allowing those excuses to get the better of you. Because, like I said, I started with, I wish I had it here. It's packed away somewhere now, but that light is literally a cardboard box. It's got not paper foil, aluminium foil on the inside, and I threw like a pillowcase over it just to diffuse the light from the from the globe. So there is literally a solution for that. Don't think that any sort of lack of equipment or gadgets or any tech stuff is going to don't allow that to hold you back from actually going forward, because honestly it's so worth it. And the great thing is that you don't need a big channel to actually get results from YouTube. It's all about the value that you're putting into your content. That's another thing people always think. I don't have a big channel. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can make money off ads. I actually did a video recently, and there was not a survey, but like a study done, and the average YouTuber only gets 0.018 cents per view. That's like $18 per 1,000 views. And it's tough. It's challenging to hit numbers like that. You having a small channel. I don't get those numbers. My channel's not monetized through YouTube and through AdSense, but it gets money, or it generates revenue from the products that I promote through it and people buying through affiliate links, that type of thing. So there is so much opportunity. Just don't allow the excuses to get the better of you with it.
Yeah. I agree with that, my friend. And most YouTubers who are relying on YouTube to pay them, which is the most kind of traditional, well-known way to make money on YouTube, that most people think is the most profitable way, which is basically just getting monetized, which means you get to a certain amount of subscribers or a certain amount of views, and YouTube will turn on your monetization, which means that you can start showing ads. How on YouTube, right in the first 5 seconds you watch an ad and then you can skip the ad, which we all do. They'll pay you pennies on the dollar for how many views your videos get and how many times they can place an advertisement in front of your video. And the truth is that is a freckle on the pimple of a gnat's ass in comparison to what you can make by doing YouTube and social media affiliate marketing effectively, or selling your own courses, coaching events, etc. Any of the core 4 business models that we teach here, by simply providing valuable content in selling your own products off of your channel or somebody else's products as an affiliate. It is, and again, especially for a small channel, which the majority of us are going to have. Now, if you have a channel with 20 million subscribers, or you're Mr. Beast or somebody who has 100 million subscribers, certainly It makes sense to focus on views and monetization. And that is what those guys focus on, because they have 100 million subscribers. They can turn on monetization and just absolutely crush it with YouTube sharing those advertising dollars. But the truth is that many information marketers, meaning they're practicing the core 4 business models, shut off monetization so it's not annoying their viewers.
Yeah.
So they can get right into the video. As soon as somebody clicks on the video, they get right into it, and they suck them into their content, providing valuable content, and then giving clear calls to action to links in the description to enter into their funnel for whatever they are promoting or selling. And so it's important, and I'm glad you brought that up, to understand what your goal is on YouTube. And I'm glad that you dropped that platinum nugget here at the end of this show about the power of making big money with a small audience. Because when you're using the strategies that we teach here in Legendary, you can make big money from a small TikTok following, Instagram following, YouTube following. You can also make big money or substantial money. Everybody's definition of big is different. You can make significant income from a small email list. That's another underutilized asset that most YouTubers are not even building. And it's mind-blowing to me that they're not driving people into their funnel to capture that email address to then continue to follow up with them. That is one of the ways in which we do monetize a small audience, is by building relationship with them, building goodwill and value with them, and then showing up in their email inbox. Now, all of a sudden, we take that relationship. It's like taking it from first base to second to third, because they were just watching you on YouTube. You were just another stranger on the internet. And then all of a sudden you said something or delivered something that was valuable enough for them to want to go and learn more or get more from you in your sales funnel, which you don't call it a sales funnel. They don't view it as a sales funnel, but that's of course what we know it is. And they've given you their email. And now all of a sudden you're not just meeting them at Starbucks for coffee or whatever, or passing by them in the mall. You're showing up at their house for Netflix and chill, right? You're taking that relationship to the next level in terms of your relationship and where you are showing up at for them. And they are going to be much more likely to buy from you because you're now in those more intimate places in their digital world. And they trust you more. It's more natural for them to pull out their credit card if you're now in their email inbox suddenly, rather than them just coming across you on the internet. So powerful conversation, my friend. Thank you so much for really enlightening us on your YouTube journey. Not everybody is using YouTube to its full potential. Full potential is relevant as well, but I'm so glad to see that you are capitalizing on it, because before TikTok, before Instagram, before Facebook, and these platforms fluctuate their hotness. They get hot, then they're not, then they get hot. But TikTok came on the scene and really totally took all the attention away from longer form video on YouTube. And YouTube is what we had for many, many years before TikTok came along and YouTube or short form content became so popularized. So the fact that you're using YouTube should be and hopefully is a wake up call to a lot of people that not only is it a great stream of traffic and income potentially for your business, but it also is a wonderful place to be able to upgrade your skills and to get better at filming video, in talking into the camera and talking to your audience versus only putting text on screen or doing little 15 or 30-second videos, So, well, my friend, come back and see me, okay? And keep making magic in real life and out here on the internet. And I look forward to having you come back and keep me posted on your journey, okay, Chad?
Will do. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. Take care and stay legendary, brother.
You too. Thank you.
All right, my friends, you can go and follow Chad on TikTok and YouTube at Purely Remote, spelled exactly how it sounds. PurelyRemote, Purely Remote, over on TikTok and YouTube. My friends, if you are going through our challenge right now, you're new to our community, keep going. Don't give up. You have so much to learn. Put your seatbelt on. If you're enrolling and going through any of our blueprint programs, put your seatbelt on and strap in and get ready for an amazing, valuable ride of learning how to use these core 4 business models in your business to be able to create not just a side hustle, but a new career path for yourself, and to really fulfill and see the stories of people like Chad who have truly transitioned careers. And whether you want to or whether you were forced here by things like the pandemic, whether you just don't want to go back to the office, like many people don't, whatever your why is, it's worth it. And we actually encourage you to learn these skills, whether you learn them from us or whether you find some guru or goblin out there on the internet that you relate with more. We try to keep this community guru free, including myself. The main rock star of these shows, even every morning, is our guest. And I thank you all so much for giving us so much affirmation, cheering us on so much, giving us so much love and support in the comments. It really, really, as I always say, and I always will, makes this show legendary and exactly what it is. We'll see you back here. Well, hold on a second now. Yes, wait, it's a holiday. We will be here tomorrow, my friends, for those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving and are wondering, will we stream on Thanksgiving? Does a bear go poop in the woods? Yes, he does, my friend. That's a big yes. We will be here, my friends. We will always be here 5 days a week. No, rain, sleet, snow, sunshine, holidays, no holidays. Every day is a great day to wake up legendary. All right, my friends. So have a great day. Have a great afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving, of course, for those of you who are celebrating that particular holiday. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Thanks again, Chad, and go and follow him on TikTok and on YouTube at Purely Remote. Wonderful YouTube content this morning. So eye-opening. You never know what you're going to learn on these episodes every morning. Get out of here. We love you. Peace.